Yep, we are live on Facebook also.
Lovely.
Yeah, we didn't have
But
to be aggressive anywhere.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, just a second. I was just checking. There are few of them who have joined us. Hello to
Hmm.
everybody on Instagram. We are live on Facebook also.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that this whole February month, we have been talking about um, the one language that we all have to communicate whatever is within, and that's the behavior. And that is the first session when we began with good behavior, bad behavior, and then the next session we started understanding what is understanding the behavior, and then also acknowledging the fact that whatever we or even a child is choosing as a behavior to express themselves at that particular point of time, that's the best choice that we are making. And the
Right.
moment we start mm, uh, thinking in this direction also, a lot is
Hmm.
then we talked about uh, the the fundamental need of ours always to fix or to change the
Hmm.
behavior or the child. And I think
Hmm.
that's where we talked about how do we connect with the child and understand below the behavior,
Right.
and and maybe uh, how we can provide when the child is ready to talk about it, how we can discuss more possibilities of uh, making those choices. Let's say, even if we are talking about choosing one behavior, if the child gets to know that there are millions of other options also available to express the same thing, then maybe uh, we can come close to our needs. First of all, maybe just we can begin with understanding that this is our need and not the child's need, and then
Right.
maybe there we can begin. So I think
Yeah,
when we were
and just to remind people that all these three talks we have done on behavior in this month, all the three are available on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. So all the three places they are available. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I think I mentioned this in the last week talk also, that before you jump to how we really want to fix or change the child's behavior, please go through the
Mhm.
first and second one. And I think in the fourth one, I have a special request that don't only go to the first and the second one, also the third one.
Hmm.
Then maybe today's we talk will be something where um, you would be able to get the maximum out of it, I guess, whatever we are going to talk about. Because I think aggressive behavior is something which comes in everybody's challenging zone.
Absolutely, including children's challenging zone.
Including children's challenging zone. And I think
So
that's the
I want to
behavior.
start there. I want to start there, Vishruti. Imagine that you are seeing a child. Imagine a scene in front of you. You are not involved in it. It's not your child. Let's say on a road or in a apartment complex. You're seeing a child who is angry and let's say punching everybody. Let's say every other children and even adults around him, right?
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
uh, let's say if you can visually, you know how they do it in movies, they blur out everybody and only the child is in focus, right? Let's assume
yeah,
that, right? Now what, this child is very aggressive and actually punching hard everybody for whatever reason. We don't know the reason, we are a bystander. Now what comes to your mind when you see like this, a scene where everything else is blurred, only this child is in focus, he's punching, he's angry, mad, whatever reason? What is coming to your mind when this visual is in front of you?
so I think there are two possibilities, simply because
Mm-hmm.
We had 3 talks on this now.
Cheating,
I
cheating.
will take different approach. Yeah. But if I
Okay.
remove this talk, then I'm sure that the first thing will come to my mind is this child doesn't know how to behave, or this is so violent, or something like that. I mean, if I haven't um, thought about understanding, I mean, standing below the
Okay, wait,
behavior.
wait, 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 wait. Okay, okay, okay. Let's not go there. Let's not assume you are in VTalks.
Okay.
Let's assume you are somewhere. So you are saying what comes to your mind is that this child is whatever, why is he so aggressive and why isn't he better behaved and so on. Okay. Now think of yourself as somebody who is immensely compassionate, somebody who can connect, who can form relationship, who can give gifts of understanding to others. Just imagine yourself to be, which I know you are, but I'm just saying each one of us is, not just you. I'm not just trying to make Vishruti happy. I'm trying to make everybody out there happy. We are all full of compassionate, we are all full of understanding, and that ability, that possibilities all exist inside us. Now let's say unblur everybody else, right? I was saying you blur everybody else, you see only this child, and you see you all almost getting very anxious, concerned, or whatever. Now unblur everybody else, and now everybody else is back into the picture. Now tell me, who in this whole scene, who is this one person who really needs your, let's say your
Compassion.
compassion
Yeah.
or your
It is
understanding? Which
it is
child?
the child.
Is
The
it so?
child
This child is hitting, let's say, 5 other children. He's become so aggressive, he's hitting all. There are 5 other children, and let's say there are 2 adults, and he's hitting everybody, all 7 of them. Now who needs care?
the one who is sitting.
Sure, because most people
Yeah,
would not
I
will
agree.
will think of saving others. The other
Yes,
five who are
yes,
being hit
yes.
will think
I
of
agree.
saving others. I'm saying who needs to be saved?
Yeah, yeah,
Who
yeah.
who who?
So that's, I think that's where the shift has happened, because the moment you say that I'm very compassionate, the general, even me few years back or some time back, I can imagine that I would have right away thought, oh, this, these other children are, uh, this child is hitting all of them, and this children, 2 children, what are they
Yeah.
doing? They
So
are
who is this
so,
poor child? Who is this bichara child? I'm.
yeah, they'll be the one who are, you know, being beaten or whatever, I mean, I think the 4 or 5 children,
Hmm.
I think that's where our shift goes the moment we think and start talking about our compassion. But yeah, now I feel that it's the child who is eating. He requires my connection, or he requires my compassion. But it's now.
So in the same analogy, let's now take it like your child or my child, meaning our child, right? Let us say, when does our child needs most love? When our child is with us, let's say whole day, whole week, whole month, uh, whole life, actually, in that sense. In which moment does the child need our love the most? Whatever is love, I don't know what is love. We'll keep that separate. When does the child need our love the most? When he is behaving nicely, making nice things, making a chaya for you, and so on, at that time? Or the child when he or she is extremely whatever, super churning inside, is behaving very rudely, behaving very badly, behaving very aggressively, throwing things, whatever is aggressive behavior in your terms, you can think of that. When is the child needing you the most?
I think when you mentioned about this behavior also, that one child is hitting 4 others, I
Hmm.
can see the child. I could see that when you talked about compassion, the one thing which is coming to my mind is that the child who is hitting so hard must have been hurt so bad, or
So
hurt,
badly.
or
Yes,
damaged so
yes.
badly. So that the things coming out of him is coming in this form. So maybe I think when you are asking me that when my child requires forget about, I don't want to name it love because then love goes into different days. Let's just call it compassion. So
Okay,
I think when
okay,
you're
fair enough.
talking about that, when my child requires my compassion, or
Or
maybe
my
my little, yeah, my little, me being with him, how
hmm.
important must have been. That's when he's already struggling a lot emotionally. Just a second. With that, this is disturbing.
Vedant, show some aggressive
I
behavior. I'm asking Vedant to show some aggressive. Then we have a live performance.
no, I have a need right now, so things can be different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when I think I need to be more compassionate towards him, because he's any which I think the moment he is having a challenging behavior, I feel uh, let's call it, any aggressive behavior is a challenging behavior,
No,
because
no,
I
behavior
feel
is not challenging. The child is challenged at this moment. It's coming out as an aggressive behavior, but I'm internally challenged. I'm unwell, let's call it.
yeah,
I'm unwell, as in not the medical unwell, but I am emotionally, socially feeling unwell. And because I
yeah,
am unwell, I need your care and attention and compassion and whatever, right? A syrup called hot chocolate syrup, rather than let's just rather than at that time I need judgment, analysis, whatever, you getting embarrassed, you getting whatever, right? We all go through that, so I don't need to talk about that. Don't open the
now we have a few more thoughts around us we are talking. So yeah, I think that's something all of us can just first of all agree and realize that when the
gate.
child is already struggling emotionally a lot, I think that's exactly when the child requires a little
Yeah.
more compassion, whatever we're
Oh, much,
throwing
much
it.
more. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if we are showing it at all. We think this is
Yeah,
the time the child needs our scolding, the child needs our tightening, the child needs our reprimanding, all
yeah,
of those things. So the child is actually getting the sterner us. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
And also, when I'm
Ajesh,
thinking about,
just one moment. Ajesh, I need little help. We are on a live call, so can you just ask? Their children are going all for a trek, so they're very excited.
uh,
And I'm missing the trek. Yeah. Okay, but we are trekking
but I think
aggressive behavior.
no, but I think you are gonna miss something, but then other people are going to be benefited in a great way, I'm sure. So yeah, so I think the moment we talk about aggressions in terms of behavior, I think what the children require. I also narrated this story that let's say one person who is very healthy, or who is very wealthy, who has a lot of money, and then one
Mhm.
person is little okay and doesn't have lot of what is it, financial support available. Let's say if you really want to land your financial support, whom will you support? You'll support
Sure,
somebody
sure.
who is wealthy. You'll support
Mm.
somebody who doesn't have enough
Who's
ways of,
struggling? Let's say. Yeah,
yeah, who is
yeah.
struggling. So
Right.
the immediate answer was always that, obviously the one who requires the support. And
Mm.
I think, that's where we all are stuck, because we forget the simple fact that whenever the child is, and it's not even with the child, I feel even a lot of time we also, I
Oh,
also,
yes, yes.
um, I have realized after a lot of reflection that a lot of time when I have a guilt, I take it out in a different way. I mean, maybe I shout or I do something, and then I realize that it had nothing to do with others or the other person. It had a lot to do with my own guilt, which I only created within me, and then it
Mm,
came out
mm,
in some
mm.
different form. And then, like you say that you maybe you can just when your child requires that little more support, and then I it just came to my mind that one time when Vedas cried a lot and all that happened. Um, and I realized that, I mean, maybe I'm not able to connect or something is missing and all that. Then he started opening up and we started discussing. And that's exactly when he said, Mama, can I have a chocolate? And in the ideal situation, I would have, negotiated or do something. In that situation, I said, oh, I was, okay. So,
Yeah, I'll give you an example. So there's this one child, very hefty build. We were just this group was about 3, 4, and 5 year olds, uh, maybe a couple of 6 years old. But this child was very strongly built. Although he was much younger, he was I think 3, 3.5. But biologically very strongly and heftily built. And what he had this whole thing about that he will twist the arm whenever he wants something. He will go and twist anybody's arm, especially other children. Right. So that was very obviously disturbing to not just the children, even to the, let's call, teachers or the facilitators who are with them. Okay. So what I did was, when I came around to work with this child, so whenever he did this, I just went up to him and says, you have found a way to take care of your needs. That's all I told him, because that's actually what he is doing, isn't he? Fulfilling his need. Let's say he wants to be the first, let's say, to go on the slide. Let's take an example. So he is
yeah,
doing that by twisting somebody else's arm. Right now, we would normally say it will hurt others and blah blah blah. But I just went up to say to him that, hey, you have found a way to a way. I did not say good way, bad way, a way to fulfill your needs. Right. Now, what, according to me, that did after about 4, 5, 6 such incidences is suddenly that whole behavior vanished. It just completely vanished. Right after that, not even once he would do that. But what I could sense was this little spark in his eyes that, oh, I am actually not being bad when I do that, because everybody else tells him that. Everybody is pinching him where it hurts him the most, that you are bad. Right. I'm actually being, in a
and
way,
then he would do it
literally
little more
appreciated.
because he's also hurt with that.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So it becomes a vicious cycle, yes. But
Yeah,
right
yeah,
here, he's receiving that as an appreciation, a compliment. Right now, when you receive a compliment, tell me, if I give you a compliment, let's say I say, Vishruti, you are looking very good. At that time, will you slap somebody or will you say, something horrible to somebody? Chances are less. When you are feeling
yeah,
nice, or if somebody has complimented, then you wouldn't do something, let's say,
yeah,
aggressive. Let's call it that way. So the
yeah,
aggression, in that sense, which was coming from a churning, is taken care, because the churning is no more there. The challenge is
yeah,
no more there. Now there is a compliment which has replaced him, like the chocolate that you talked about. So there are so many ways in which we can give the chocolate, but we should be able to see the child, that this child needs the chocolate now.
yeah,
Not the literal chocolate, as in you don't have to keep chocolates in your bag, but there's so many other chocolates that we have to offer.
yeah, 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 yeah. Wow. I'm still thinking, um, what this magical words it must have done to the child when he chose that behavior, and he must have heard that, oh, you found a way out to fulfill your needs. Oh my God. And I'm sure that the moment he must have heard this, like, even if you're telling this to me, I realize that, you know, uh, this is just a way. I
Hmm,
mean, the
hmm,
simple fact
hmm,
that this is just a way to fulfill
hmm.
my need. And there must be many other ways which I am not aware of. So,
And I can
wow.
work on with him if I need to. If he needs help with that, I can sit with him, and together we can make a long list, or even better, with a group, we can sit together and all can come up with ideas of how they can, not he can, but they can, behave in what other behaviors they can do when, let's say, you want to be the first, or when you want to do this, or whatever it is. So that list is can be built in. But right now, there's something else going on inside. Yeah, the volcano is erupting, so there's no point jumping inside the volcano. We need to calm that down, not by putting our
Giving
own
that.
load of yeah, giving yarn, or our own embarrassment, or our own looking down at that behavior, kind of thing. So I say that, yeah, as you were rightly said, that there are no aggressive behaviors. There are only challenged children or challenged people.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
The
yeah. Yeah. In fact, I was also thinking about this. Like, this was my personal observation that a lot of time when Vedat he chooses to, like, I know that when he hits, he's very much aware that I'm not hurting majorly. But then he hits, and even if he touches, I say that, let's not talk with hands, let's talk with words.
Hmm. Hmm.
So after my, constant this one sentence, I will always say that I don't want to talk with hands. We will talk with words. We'll talk with. We have a mouth for that. So I realized that then what later what he did was that whenever he used to feel angry and he wants to take out that feeling in that particular way only, then he used to hit in the air.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then I realized that even if he's little challenged with his feelings, there are a lot of disturbance inside, and let's say he didn't like something majorly, it begins with that only that they didn't like something or they need something kind. So even if he was in that zone, he was very consciously aware of what he was doing in terms of behavior, and that was something which I think which began at least the idea of uh, I want to look at this aggressive behavior, or I want to look at any this kind of behaviors from a different window. I think that's when I started looking at it from different angles. I don't remember that I have ever said this to him that you found a way out to this. But then yeah, it sounds so amazing. Wow. And also I also want to mention this here that whenever we are talking about aggressive behaviors, we right away what we want is that the child should calm down. And then
Right.
ultimately, I see a lot of parents that they want a very calm child. And then I feel that, I mean, let's reflect on our needs also, because the feeling, like feeling bad or feeling hurt or feeling sad, these feelings are not going to vanish ever in your life. I mean, you are human beings, no? So,
Absolutely.
so it's okay. You don't have to feel bad. And I'm like, why can't I feel bad? He's just feeling bad. I mean, it's okay. But
Yeah.
then this whole idea, no, that if the child is aggressive, we need to fix that behavior with a very calm. I mean, then I start imagining what kind of expectation we have from children. So that is also
Yeah.
something I really want
And
to.
interestingly, a lot of time we try to fix that aggressive behavior with our own aggressive behavior. We start shouting, we getting impatient, we getting frustrated. So we come up with all kinds of actions. We slap, we hit, we scold, we shout, we pull, we do all kinds of things. Right?
And I
So it's
want to
funny.
confess that it never works.
Yeah,
Please
yeah,
believe
yeah.
it never works. So
Obviously,
my
see, if your milk is boiling over, you can't put more heat to prevent it from overflowing, right? You have to switch off the gas, right? So then only it will subside. But we tend to put
yeah.
more fuel into the fire, and then we say, "Oh, it's boiling more," and then it just.
And I also want to share the thought behind it, which I realized. Okay, so when he used to get angry, I will try like this and that and this and that. And sometime I realized that I also try to raise my voice above his voice, simply thinking that he'll get scared of it. But
Hmm, hmm.
on my face, I realized he never gets scared of it because he's already in the boiling milk mode, and it never gets. Ultimately, how it has always worked is I go back to him, I tell him that I think I shouted simply because I wanted you to feel scared, which you did not.
Hmm.
And let me come back to you. I think that is not the correct way I should have said. And then when I say this, that was not the correct way that I say this, I see, he also rethinking about how he's saying.
His behavior, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it never works. This is the failed theory which has been working since millions of years. I don't know how we got this idea of shouting and scolding and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so they say na, that if the plant is little wilting, then you don't fix the plant. You fix the environment around the plant. You give it either more water, or you give it more sunshine, or you look at the soil, or you mulch the plant. Right?
You want to
So,
sorry. He has a need. I want to eat. Okay,
ah,
sure. He's showing his gun. Okay, thanks. Sorry.
right. No, good. So he brought a gun. That's interesting. So we can talk about that also. That people have this theory that these toys like guns and games like where you shoot people build aggression in people. So that's that. So yeah, I've even people I've heard even people saying don't feed children non-vegetarian because they will become aggressive because it's coming from animals, animal behavior, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is fair enough. Whatever are your theories, that is fine. I'm
Let
not.
me
I'm not.
pause. No, pause. I want to pause here simply because when Vedas started exploring guns and tanks and he started talking about, all of these things, I realized that somewhere I was not supporting him. I'm not saying that I was telling him something verbally that don't do
Hmm.
this or don't do this kind of game. But then few days I observed myself and I realized that the way I support him in other activities, I don't support him in this. And then I started asking myself why it is like that. And then I realized that maybe somewhere I have this idea that the moment he gets into this, gun and war, I think it is too violent. So,
Yeah.
why
Yeah. Yeah.
I should encourage him to get into this kind of stuff. And you
Yeah.
know that maybe he makes all this gun and everything with Lego and there's a lot of creation behind what he was doing. Still,
And if
I
he
had
makes a
this.
painting, if any child makes a painting in which guns and all are there, are you okay with that? And the same child paints a painting where there is a lot of nature and lovely birds and love and all that. Then we like it, right? If there is, but there is guns and there are bombs and there is people dying, and then we go swing.
So I want to share as a mother what I did. So I
Hmm.
didn't I didn't support him, but at the same time I wanted to know what is pulling me back. What is it
Hmm.
which is
Hmm.
stopping me from being with him? So
Hmm.
then one day when I was talking to him, I realized I had a friend who was with me in architecture, and
Hmm.
he used to be a big time tank and gun and war fan. He knew all the dates and crazy. I mean, his knowledge in this field was unbelievable. I only wonder why he was not in the army. Otherwise, he would have been ended up there. So I remembered him, and the other day I called him up, and I said
Hmm.
that he still does a lot of miniature, and he has reached to another level on a professional level, even though he's an architect. So he told me that I asked him that why do you make all of these things? What is really that push you? And
Hmm. Hmm.
when you are making all of these things, are you really thinking about what it is doing, or the maybe the creation of gun, how it is going to be used,
Right.
and what will it create and all that? So he says that Vishruti, we sure we the only thing we enjoy the most is the mechanical, the creation part of it. And
Right.
whenever I'm making it, I really love because there are so many small things that I'm learning every time I make any of it. And I
Hmm.
don't see it
Hmm.
from that angle at all. I never have that perception that oh, I mean, what is it doing and all that. And I never had a the dream also that I want to go in the army and kill somebody. Never.
Hmm.
The only
Hmm.
thing I was doing was, and when I talked to him for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I kept digging deep, and I realized that how I am looking at things, Vedat is looking at it with a complete different perception.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
and
that's what I want to tell everybody then.
and
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
God that I mean, at least in my case, I just felt that thank God that I did not tell him all that oh, you are learning so much of violence and this is and that is. I don't know what I must have done
Yeah.
otherwise.
Just now you
But
showed a gun. No? We're live and you showed a gun.
yeah,
Yeah. So the important part to realize is that the behavior does not come from whatever, from anything else but my needs. Yeah,
yeah,
and the needs here are unfulfilled challenge needs, and feeling low about myself, feeling incapable of myself, and so on and so forth, which is why I always say that if there is a child A bullying a child B, more than taking care of child B, I will take care of the child A who's bullying the child B, because the child A who's bullying is really hollow from inside. That's the one who is the one who really needs the support. The child B, I would rather say, you figure out, face the bully, because that's what life is all about. But that's another topic. We'll come not talk about that. But I'll focus on child A, because to me the child A is more important, because somewhere that the challenge inside him is making him do all this, whatever is his bullying or her bullying action is. So let's focus on this A rather than focus on the one who is being bullied. I'm not saying don't focus on B, but definitely help. The real help needed by is not the one who is being bullied, but the one who is bullying. And in any case, if we connect with people who are in turmoil, who are causing, whose behavior is causing us discomfort, then by helping them, we are actually helping the behavior also, isn't it? We are resolving that issue. So if the behavior, if the aggressive behavior is causing discomfort in us, let's not solve the behavior. Let's take care of the whatever, the volcano or the vessel where it is coming from, which is the child. And once we can connect with the child and kind of take the child into into a zone where he feels better about himself, then automatically the behavior will kind of fizzle out or fade away, or the child may not even remember that he used to do that. Right. So that's the whole idea.
Yeah. And I also want to mention two things there. One was that uh, this whole bullying and somebody being bullied, I think if you really, any parent really wants to explore this part of why somebody is bullying and why somebody is getting bullied and all that, if you feel that you are struggling with your child, I think Jagriti is the best place where you can be. Because when I had that session, no, I could not sleep that entire night, you know, simply because the whole focus was shifted from A, like B to A, as you rightly said. And that was something which was so important, so important. So I think, first of all, I would request all the parents, I mean, Jagriti is still on, but maybe the next batch, whenever Ratnesh is announcing the next batch,
Your next
I
batch
think,
is announced. It's in June. Next batch of Jagriti program is in June. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So the next batch starts in June, and if you have missed this one, please attend the next batch. I'm sure the journey is going to be amazing. And second thing I want to mention here is there was this some Karishma Kapoor's this motherhood serial. It was
Mm-hmm.
motherhood mentorhood or something, which was somebody suggested me as I was into all this that you should watch this. This is very nice and all. So I watched this 5-7 episodes का कोई series है. And in that also, one of the episode was on bullying, and in that they have shown that that two children who were bullying the other child who was
Mm-hmm.
from Kapoor's son. So
Hmm.
then they have shown the whole scenario that those two children who were bullying this child, they were
Hmm.
going through extreme level of emotional trauma at home. They
Hmm.
were constantly watching some behaviors where they are constantly told, not heard, and their father or whatever, they were saying that no, do this or do that, and a lot of things which were suppressed. And that's where in the end they said the same thing that not only the one who is being bullied, also the one who is bullying uh, needs help.
Sure,
And
sure.
I think when you mentioned the whole thing, it just connected so well. So if you really want little chaat masala and all the masala in the thriller story, maybe go and watch that. You may get some very dramatized version of this. But yeah, the core remains is that yeah. Any aggressive behaviors it requires our attention at least.
Yeah, I want to
From that.
mention one more point before we wind up, is that we consider only as, or at least some people consider only certain kind of behaviors as aggressive. For example, they may consider hitting to be aggressive, right? So let's say my child hits another child and I get very angry, and then I become quiet. I'm not talking to my child anymore, right? Whole day, whole evening, I'm not talking. I'm just being mom, and the child is obviously up and down and all that. Now, according to me, my staying quiet is an equally aggressive behavior. Right? Aggression does not necessarily mean it has to be physical aggression. Right? Sometimes silence can be a much more piercing, right, noise, piercing, whatever, aggression. It can cut through us much more than a knife would, I would say. Right? Other person who's so all I'm trying to say is that let us see what kind of behaviors are we choosing when we are faced with, let's say, something that the child is not very happy with, or we are not happy with some of the child's behavior, or something, whatever is happening between me and child. Am I also choosing an aggressive behavior? And if I can choose another form of, let's say, a more expressive form, where I can, let's say, write or talk or whatever I can figure out my own. But I'm not saying, I'm saying just because we are older, just because we are not necessarily physically hitting the child, does not mean that we are not aggressive. Just mere silence, as an example, I'm saying, can be very, very aggressive. Even saying, even comparison can be very aggressive. When I'm comparing you to, look at that child's behavior, he never hates, you are all the time like that, or she never does that, you are like that. That I'm forget the behavior, the comparison is far more aggressive onto the one who is already feeling horrible. So I'm feeling horrible. On top of that, you are comparing with somebody, and I don't want to be compared. Nobody likes being compared at any point of time, right? So we need to be little more, you can say, uh, aware and cognizant of how, what is it that we are bringing into the whole situation, right? Are we bringing more fire, more fuel to the fire, or are we trying to connect with the child, and so on and so forth, whatever we have talked in the last three sessions. So I just wanted to clarify that part also.
No, but this is something, yeah, it generally is not talked about for sure. And when you are saying this, I realize that even for 2 minutes, if I tell my child that, I don't want to talk right now, I know that how many times he comes back and says, let's talk, those are not talking times. And I think that's equally harming. I mean, even if um, I think I feel that we haven't said anything in aggression, I think it's equally harmful. So yeah, I think that's a brilliant thing. Yeah. A lot of realization happens at Nesh, you see.
That's what
Consciousness,
children teach us. Yeah.
every day.
ठीक है.
Lovely. So I think we have a lot of food for thought, at least from this session. And everybody who ever joined for this particular subject, let's understand behavior and
And
let's
stop
connect.
calling any behavior as aggressive behavior. Behavior is just a behavior. If you want, call the need as aggressive. I don't care, but don't call the behavior aggressive. And when you say his needs are aggressive, I'm sure then you will connect to the needs.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. But I just, if only we can reach to that level of need, I think somewhere we all get stuck only on the surface.
Maybe at that
And
moment, yes, because we are also very disturbed. But later on, at least after a few hours, few days, whenever we can connect back with the
then
child. Oh,
after a
yes,
job, you always
yeah,
have a
even
choice
after.
of listening. Yes.
So no harm. Morning, child shouted, you also shouted, that's okay. Evening, now the child is calm, now you can say, okay, I don't know why I shouted. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that always is there.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. So glad. I'm sure we have uh, too much to take back home today. And everybody, all the parents uh, are always invited and welcome to share their thoughts on
Yeah,
whatever we are saying, sharing, because as we strongly believe that there is no one way of looking at anything. There are millions of windows, millions of ways. So let's all of us come together as a community and share, with each other. So please share your thoughts also. Um, I think Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, we are there, but maybe there, I don't know whether they can write or no. But I think
sure,
Twitter,
sure,
we
they
are
can
there.
write, they can post a comment in
They can
YouTube.
write.
Yeah, yeah.
And ultimately, you have the website, aarohilife.org. So I'm sure that we'll hear a lot from all of you too. Thank you so much, Ratnesh.
Sure. Thank you, Vishruti. Yeah. Bye bye.
Yeah, Sonali is saying very lovely session. Thank you, Sonali, for joining us. So we are so glad to have, such at least parents who wants to know more. I think that's where the whole
Yeah.
idea lies.
We want to make a difference in their child's and their life, both. That's,
And we all are on the understanding page. So yeah, somebody else also is saying lovely session. Nat- Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, all
So,
of you.
you want to give
Sorry.
people heads up? What's the theme for March, or you want to keep it like a secret?
No, I want to keep it like a secret, and I also ओके ठीक है चलो बता ही देती हूँ क्योंकि in March entire month we are going to talk about something which we use in our day-to-day life almost 10,000 times as a parent, and the word is discipline. So we are not going to be disciplined in the we talk next we talk. Let's figure out what is this discipline and why we are not being disciplined.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
We look at
Thank
many
you.
aspects of disciplining, yeah,
Yeah,
of being
yeah.
disciplined or disciplining. Okay, yeah, thank you. That much is enough.
Thank Yeah, thank you so much.
Um,
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ratnesh. Thanks a lot. Yeah. See you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.